Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out in 2010, and there's really not much to say that hasn't already been said by numerous people. Nothing really left to say beyond my own impressions. My experience with the series is not deep, having not played any of the later games, and really this is the newest one I've played at this point. So really the only thing I can do is go over my own cons and pros to the game. Cons. Really, since any Ubisoft game since Far Cry 3, it's just the constant bloat with the map style. Missions upon missions that I really have no desire to track down and do, or to waste my time on. There are many other games to move on to, and this one's not going to encapsulate my life. Many of the games within this, or missions within this, such as the Cortesian ones or anything like that, I didn't even bother with. Moved right on. If it didn't seem to be something right up my alley, something more combat-oriented, I moved on. The thing I've been saying since even the first installment of the series, and one that I don't think has been fixed in any later installments, is the underlying level of jank, especially in the parkour. I usually stop and take a second every 2 jumps and reorient the character before moving on to that third one. Otherwise, he just has a tendency to throw himself off the side of the building. It just never really quite works the way you want. The faster you go, the more the mechanics of the game punish you for it. Many times we try to climb a tower and find just that exact right combination of buttons to get up to the next little bit. The combat system. Sadly, it's never evolved in the way I'd like it to, at least not in this point of my experience. Something more akin to the lines of Lord of the Rings Return of the King would be very exciting. Whereas this, it's more like everybody just waits their turn till the opening. It's like Batman Arkham style. You just wait your turn and hit the button. At that point, it's barely even a rhythm game, much less anything else. Is there the possibility that I could have learned better combos and figured out how to overcome these restrictions, these waits? Possibly. But in the 20 or so hours I spent in it, I never did find a faster way to do so. I don't know if I could really call it a con, maybe just a complaint, but the synchronization, where I'll encounter a new mission and be given a special little parameter, a special little restriction, if you will, that I need to get through in order to get the proper, perfect synchronization. And you've got the one try to do so, even though you've never encountered this scenario before. It's rarely happened. Always bugged me a bit, leaving me, even though I finished the game, to only be at about 65 to 70% synchronization. Even though I took the extra time to do all the Templar missions, and find the Romulus armor, and all that. Go through all those challenges. Which, might I say, after the Romulus armor, after you have that and the weapons which go with it, well, anything you can buy at the local blacksmith just isn't going to measure up. There's really no point to continue to invest money there. I did really enjoy the story. I've enjoyed seeing the way Ezio has grown throughout the series, and look forward to seeing how he grows in the next one, and seeing how he deals with problems in comparison with how Altair might have dealt with problems. Seeing the alliances and friendships he's grown and maintained throughout the series, and even how his family has grown. Yes, even Mario. I enjoyed the bigger set pieces. Maybe someone else would say that it was a weak point of the series. Is it cinematic? Is it AAA? Is it all the things we're supposed to hate about video games because it just makes us ride through a set piece just to entertain us? Yes, and it was very entertaining. It did its job, and I quite enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind seeing more of these. I always looked forward to the big story missions just for the sake of these, and thought the end boss fight was much better than fighting the Pope in the last one, where I basically just button mashed him into a corner until he finally died. You would think fighting the Pope would be the highlight of this trilogy. Anyway. Despite all the bloat, when you do manage to find the little, self-contained missions, like I recall one, I don't remember if it was a Templar lair or what it was, but I went in there and it was a little mining area that I had to figure out all these environmental puzzles with, and it gave me restrictions like don't kill the civilians, things like that I quite enjoyed, and it was its own little developed area. That type of mission, I enjoyed the self-contained little stories. But when you're looking at all the icons on a map, you don't know if you're getting one of those, or if you're just getting yet another Cortesian follow this guy without him letting seeing you across the city mission. The worst kind. The Assassinations themselves. Maybe they're not as freeform as the original game. Maybe they are more restricted in some ways, especially with the synchronization parameters and the exact way they want you to carry it out. And yet, I find this to be one of the fun parts of the series. The most enjoyable is just being given a target, knowing that they're in this vague area, and just figuring it out on my own how I want to go about it. Most of the time, do I still end up just jumping from the sky? Yes. But having that freedom to do so, to just be given a target and allow your mind to be used and utilized to find the best possible maneuver. If you enjoy this type of content, I really do recommend subscribing. I know it's selfish of me, but I just do really recommend it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if you just absolutely hated it, hit that dislike button.